Hello, welcome to Ryno's Ravens preview. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Big week coming up for the Baltimore Ravens. Miami Dolphins are in town. This is number 1 and number 2 seeds in the AFC doing battle. Let's get to the injury report. As you can see, I'm on BaltimoreRavens.com. Already have the tab loaded up for their injury report page that Baltimore Ravens put out. Start off with Jalen Armour-Davis. He's at the top of the list. Cornerback, more depth piece really for the secondary. Has a concussion, or he's listed to have a concussion Wednesday, very limited, or I'm sorry, it just says limited, but then didn't participate, and has been ruled out. Slightly odd that he was participating in practice. Though it is possible that it could have happened in practice, I guess. I didn't think they were really doing that much contact this time of year, but it's kind of odd. A few names that mean a lot more. Zay Flowers, dealing with a calf problem, did not participate Wednesday and Thursday, limited Friday. Not good news at all. Though, to a certain extent, it is late in the year. How much does Zay Flowers need to practice running routes and catching balls? Based on this season, not too much, but you don't really like the questionable status. Kyle Hamilton, probably even more concerning. I would say he should be more listed as doubtful, but that is just my opinion. That knee problem, that same knee, that one he re-aggravated in the last game against, oh God, who did they play? Yeah, the 49ers, that's right. And several weeks prior to that, maybe it was only a few weeks, it came out, what did they call it? I can't remember what they called it. No, can't remember what he called it. Something happening with his knee. It's either an ACL or an MCL. I can't remember what it was. Like a strained MCL or something like that, I think it was. His injury is non-contact related. He can get blasted in his knee, a low block of some sort. It's really, at least this re-aggravation, he was engaged, trying to fight off a block and kind of went down with the thing. So, does not bode well for him. Arthur Millette, potential replacement, next man up kind of deal to fill at least one of Kyle Hamilton's role, is also having knee problems. Limited Wednesday and Thursday, full participant Friday, so should have Arthur Millette to fill in there. McCary, concussion as well, limited Wednesday and Thursday, full participant Friday, so should be okay to go. Del'Shawn Phillips, who I'm not very familiar with, depth piece at linebacker, is having a shoulder issue. Was around Wednesday, not participating Thursday, Friday, so he's questionable. Patrick Queen, this was more of a collarbone issue. You could see what was it on the interception return, and he went down because was it Trent Williams, big offensive lineman on top of him. You could see Queen on the collar, not on the collar. Yeah, I was going to say collarbone. On the sideline, the camera went to him, and he was mouthing, "It's my collarbone, it's my collarbone." So he's having something in the collarbone shoulder area. But as you can see, limited Wednesday, full participant Thursday and Friday. So hopefully he's good to go. And his linebacker buddy, Roquan Smith, having a pectoral issue, limited Wednesday, full participant Thursday and Friday. So guys are getting banged up this time of year, but it's looking like Queen and Smith are going to be fighting through it. They're going to be able to be out there, which we're going to need them, especially with some more of the names that we're going to see on this list. Brandon Stevens, probably the Ravens' best cornerback this year, having an ankle issue. Nothing listed for Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday did not participate. Questionable in the game status column. That's not good. That's bad. This is probably the weirdest one. Jordan Stout, the punter, carry that many punters on the roster. Back issue of some kind. Limited Wednesday and Thursday, full participant Friday, but potential there for maybe some more, maybe a heavier rush on punts, looking to get to the punter who may or may not be dealing with some kind of injury. Sometimes you can't tell with this stuff how severe the injury really is. Could be concerning. If we lose a punter mid-game, now what? Broderick Washington, he is more of a depth piece, but defensive lines nowadays go through lots of sub-periods. Like, you almost think of it kind of like hockey and how they have certain lines for your forwards and your defenders. Defenders usually have 3 lines. Forwards usually have 4 lines. Probably closer to 3 lines for a defensive line. Broderick Washington, I think, in my opinion, is good enough to be on the second line. It does hurt that he may or may not be available. He was limited Wednesday, but full participant Thursday and Friday. Hopefully his elbow isn't going to be a problem at all. You definitely want that depth piece to help fill some holes for a running back trying to find some lanes through the line and put some pressure on quarterbacks. Kevin Zeitler, interior of Ravens' offensive line, has been pretty good this season. Zeitler is one of the mainstays there. Knee/quad ailment. Did not participate Wednesday. Thursday limited. Friday full participant. Sounds like he'll be good to go. And Odell Beckham Jr., more of a rest thing. He's getting kind of, in football terms, he's kind of old. And knee injuries and such. Nothing listed Wednesday and Thursday, but didn't participate Friday. Doesn't look like it's injury related. It really looks like it's just rest. Might need to lean on him a little bit more. Hopefully we're able to. And it's just a rest day. Let's take a look at the Dolphins. This is probably the most names I've seen on a list for an opposing team that I've seen on this website. This is a big one up here. Jalen Waddle. Be Tyreek Hill's Robin, I guess. Tyreek Hill being Batman. Dynamic duo the Dolphins have at wide receiver. Dealing with an ankle injury, and he, at this current time, his game status is out. So it does not look like the Dolphins will push Waddle to play in this game. Good news, especially good news for this Ravens defensive front. The Dolphins' offensive line looks banged up. You got a guard, he's doubtful. You got another guard, he's questionable. You got a guy listed as just OL, offensive line. Not too familiar with a few of these names. He's questionable. Here you got an offensive tackle. He's questionable. You got another offensive tackle on this list, though. Doesn't really look like he's having too much of a problem since Mr. Terran Armstead. He didn't participate Wednesday, but was limited Thursday and Friday. He's probably going to go. But, again, it's that time of the year where people are banged up. Hopefully that means very good things for Ravens pass rushing. Like to see a lot of sacks tomorrow. And you see Tyreek Hill is here on this list. He was kind of up in the air whether he'll go or not. I think at this point, looking at this, Tyreek Hill's going to play. Dealing with an ankle ailment. Wednesday didn't participate. Thursday limited. Full participant Friday, so he'll be in there. And Tunga Vailoa, same thing, really. Limited early, full participant later in the week. He's going to go. He's having a left thumb quad issue, which you do like that. You don't really like that guys are injured, but the injury does kind of match up with what at least me as a Ravens fan likes to see. Pressure quarterbacks, put hits on quarterbacks, and maybe strip the ball. Well, if you have a left front thumb problem, can you secure the football as well as if you didn't have a left thumb problem? No, you can't secure the ball as well, which is a good thing. We like that. We like when our defense gets the ball on the ground and scoops it up, don't we? Or maybe just covers it up, regain possession, I guess. Gain possession of that football for our offense. Like that. All right. Enough of the injury stuff. Let's look at let's go to playoff picture. Well, this tab should be over here then. I want to go in order. See, as of right now, okay, because, well, technically, I don't know where, I'm trying to think. Well, the Browns had more losses than the Dolphins, so I feel like the Dolphins would be ahead of the Browns. So, as you can see, 1 and 2 seed here. Browns, drives me nuts that the Browns are still hanging around with their damn quarterback they just dragged off the couch. But the good news is, if you can find some good news, is only these two other teams can really do anything to affect where the Ravens are seated. Or I guess, well, technically these 3 teams, because the Ravens can absolutely do things to affect their seeding, up or down. Play like Ravens and you'll win. You don't play like Ravens, you'll lose and you'll go down in the standings. As you can see, the Ravens here with 12 wins. Everybody else that's in the hunt or on the bubble, they're not even at double digits left. They're not even at double digits. And with 2 games left to play, there's no way even them winning can really affect the Ravens. Really do. Assuming my math is correct, the Ravens win at least one of these last 2 games, they're locked for the division. Now, as far as first or second seed, depending on whether we get a bye or not, really do kind of got to win. Of course, if we win, beat the Dolphins, then that's it. You got the number 1 seed, because the Dolphins wouldn't be able to overtake you, and the Browns wouldn't be able to overtake you, and nobody else is even at double-digit wins yet. So, therefore, which is, if you look on the schedule, which I'll get to the scheduling page here in a minute, you'll see how the time schedule for the Ravens-Steelers game isn't really set in any kind of stone or any kind of surface, because some of these last games don't really matter. And, again, it wouldn't matter for the Ravens. Got to keep our fingers crossed. I think I would have liked the game to be a little later. I think it would have hurt the Dolphins, because, they play in Miami and they're used to that warm weather. Well, I don't think it's going to be that warm tomorrow night. Tomorrow during the day, probably a little warmer. It does kind of hurt us. All right, let's move on to that schedule and check this some logistical stuff. You see, Week 18 TBD. No date, no time, nothing. Because if there is a chance that either the Ravens or the Steelers are playing for something, that they may put it in somewhat of a primetime slot, because how many other games wouldn't have any playoff implications? But hopefully, we don't care. We don't want to care about the Steelers game. Well, that's a tough one, isn't it? Because I sure as hell don't want the Ravens to go 0-2 against the Steelers in the season. That would just be ridiculous. How do you lock up the first seed and then go on two against the Steelers. Is that even acceptable? Should we accept that as Ravens fans? Thoughts for next week, I guess. All right, so going back to this week. Week 17. Again, 2 more games left for most teams. The Jets and the Browns have already played. And probably by the time you see this, who is that's playing the Saturday game? Lions and Cowboys. Will have already played. Sunday, second to last Sunday in the regular season here. 1 o'clock, also New Year's Eve. 1 o'clock, the Miami Dolphins will be at M&T Bank Stadium playing the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Wow, I kind of just flowed into that. Didn't even think, oh yeah, that's the end of the show. There you go. How's that for wrapping it up in a summary? End of the show. Hopefully we get a win tomorrow. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Ryno. Fly Ravens, fly.